This story begins with a man explaining that in this world, there are heavily armed groups, tough people capable of committing any atrocity. However, there's only one thing they all fear, and that is Peter, a trained assassin capable of eliminating any target, no matter how dangerous or powerful. Peter is a cold, calculating assassin, a street legend, who is now being hunted by thousands of assassins just like him. The irony is that Peter is now old, a 60-year-old man, or at least, that's what everyone thought. After finishing his account of the most dangerous assassin on the planet, the man telling Peter's story is about to be killed by an assassin. In his desperation, he asks the assassin in front of him if he isn't Peter, the most feared creature in the world. The man, in panic, continues, stating that millions of people are watching and are after his life. Yet, it doesn't make any sense that he's still alive or hasn't even been found. To him, even though Peter may be a legend, it doesn't make sense that a 60-year-old man could outmatch the new generation of assassins. Hearing his victim's words, the masked assassin, wearing a kindly face, steps closer and ironically asks the man if he wants to know the truth. The assassin continues, saying that even with tens of thousands of other assassins watching him, they would never be able to find him because the Peter they know no longer exists. The assassin then removes his mask, revealing a young man, completely different from the old Peter, in a dark, expressionless tone, leaving the man in front of him utterly incredulous. The story flashes back to 3 months earlier and shows an old man hanging a promotion sign on a wall. A woman speaks with the old man, Mr. Bay, on the phone, telling him that he can't keep ignoring her calls and refusing to go to the hospital. She insists that he needs to go regularly, as he only has about 3 months left to live. Mr. Bay replies that he doesn't fear death. After all he's been through, he's seen the line between life and death many times. He goes on to say that he dedicated 50 years to the organization, and today, he has no regrets about it. However, as he looks at himself in the mirror, he realizes that he has never taken a single picture of himself in his entire life. Suddenly, a young girl enters his bookstore, asking Mr. Bay if he has elementary school textbooks. Noticing her presence, Mr. Bay welcomes the girl and tells her that in his bookstore, she can find any type of book she needs. The girl asks for the latest textbooks, saying they are for her brother. Mr. Bay takes her to pick out the books, and while searching, they chat a little. Mr. Bay asks if she's in high school, and the girl confirms, impressed by the old man's keen eye. Mr. Bay tells her that he knows everyone in town, and as they talk, he places a small stack of books on the counter for her. The girl tells Mr. Bay she can't take all those books because there are too many, but Mr. Bay kindly insists she take them anyway, saying the books will finally be used instead of gathering dust. The girl thanks him and agrees. But when Mr. Bay bends down to wrap the books, he finds the girl pointing a knife at his back. Mr. Bay reflects and remembers that the girl is the result of a vendetta from one of his past victims. He tells her that if she turns around and leaves, he won't kill her, but if she goes through with it, she'll likely end up dead. Mr. Bay then reveals that he knew who she was from the moment she walked into the bookstore and sensed her intentions. Realizing this, the girl sees no other choice but to attack quickly, as it's her only chance. However, when Mr. Bay turns around, the girl feels the weight of the old man's presence and wonders if she will leave that place alive, considering how calm he is. Mr. Bay explains the situation to her and recognizes that the organization's methods for training rookie assassins haven't changed. He also states that things are still the same as they were 50 years ago and tells the girl that when Plan A fails, the organization always has a Plan B to ensure the job is done. The girl is confused by what the old man is saying, but she doesn't have time to think because, suddenly, Mr. Bay lunges at her, grabbing and shielding her from the bullets of other assassins sent to finish the job of killing him. While on the ground with the girl, Mr. Bay explains to her that if a mission fails, the volunteer is also neutralized, meaning she shouldn't expect to leave the bookstore alive. As the situation unfolds, one of the assassins captures the girl, and Mr. Bay is also hit. The old man laments that, unfortunately, his body is no longer young and doesn't move as he wills it to. In the midst of the chaos, Mr. Bay is struck, and one of the assassins wonders if this old man is truly the most feared assassin in the world. He also says that he expected more from the man whose reputation spread across the country, but realizes that even the most dangerous assassin can't do anything against illness. Mr. Bay, who is also known among assassins as Peter, questions the assassin known as 8 Tentacles about why the organization is trying to kill him. He is surprised by the response. The organization's boss is upset with him. The assassin goes on to say that once Peter retires, millions of assassins will come after him, and that would be a huge hassle for the boss. That's why his head is now worth exactly the amount in his account, 7.6 billion. According to 8 Tentacles, the money Peter accumulated throughout his life will now fall into someone else's hands. After finishing his explanation, 8 Tentacles expresses his excitement at being the one to eliminate Peter and rushes at him, punching him. The other assassins join in, beating Peter while shouting for him to stop making things so difficult and just die already. Peter falls into a back room of his bookstore, playing his last card by throwing a flash grenade at the assassins and fleeing while they cover their eyes. After a while, Peter collapses, exhausted and near death. At that moment, a flashback crosses his mind, and he remembers everything he went through during his childhood and youth. While other children did what normal kids do, he bled for 365 days, eliminating targets, committing wrongdoings, and training to become a born assassin. Elsewhere, the head of the organization talks about Peter's reputation and how profitable he was throughout his life. He also remarks that it's a shame Peter has grown old, sick, and weak, because of which he now needs to be discarded. In his final moments, Peter laments and grows furious, swearing that he will never let this rotten organization take his money. The scene shifts, revealing 8 Tentacles' hideout, where Peter suddenly appears, rejuvenated. 8 Tentacles' henchmen are stunned, noticing the resemblance between the young man and Peter, but they barely have time to react. In his thoughts, Peter reflects that he doesn't know what happened to him, but when he woke up, he was young again. Now that he has another chance, he will use it to get revenge and take everything from the organization. He then charges at the thugs with an octopus tentacle and eliminates them all in the blink of an eye, declaring that the old Peter no longer exists, and now he is the avenger of that poor old man who died after fleeing a bookstore.